podcast. Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers Podcast, the only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment. We're your hosts, Cameron and Kobe, and we are ready to bring survival goodness direct to your dirty little coronavirus-infected earhole.
Initiating scare tactics.
Cam, I'm really excited to be here today.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
I'm glad we're alive.
I am. Oh, geez.
Man.
So we're tackling it today. It's happening, right?
Yeah. I think I have a form of coronavirus.
Yeah, I think you do
hear
as well.
my congestion and
Yeah.
cold, depression, and sadness.
It's all coming through.
All part of it.
It's a really good mic. It's picking all that stuff up.
I can hear the struggles he had in childhood.
That anxiety's coming through. So what are we talking about today? What is it?
Well, the hottest topic right now, COVID-19.
It's spreading all over the world, this topic.
Yeah, it's a hot topic.
Yeah, it is. Coronavirus, COVID-19, the Kung flu, Wu-Tang flu, Wuhan, whatever it is. Yeah. We're talking about it
We
all
actually
today.
had kind of started to talk about like a pandemic scenario again because it's the most terrifying thing
it is
ever. And
welcome to our nightmare.
This one just started to blow up, and so we kind of geared it more towards what's hot right now.
Yeah, that's how we do.
And so here we go.
We're excited. But today's podcast is brought to you by TacPack, the only monthly tactical subscription box with useful professional-grade stuff inside. Use code CASUALPREPPERS and get a free separate bag sent of EDC gear along with your first month's TacPack. Head to TacPack.com and use our code CASUALPREPPers.
That's new.
That changed. I know. I felt really funky doing that.
That sounded way weird.
Yeah, so you're going to get new stuff. Instead of getting that 10% off, you're going to get an extra little bag full of cool EDC gear.
Ooh,
that's cool.
Not the prepared.
No, that's cool, huh? So we decided today we're going to forego all of our regular shenanigans.
Is there anything more mad in the world right now?
There really isn't.
So why are we even talking about it?
So, Cameron, okay, let's start off with some disclaimers.
Yeah.
Because we've already had people on the social medias saying, well, you guys are just spreading the fear.
Stop it.
You're fear-mongering. This is just a little sniffle cold that people get. Yeah. Everybody's fine.
Yeah.
Right? So
don't scare all my kids.
Yeah.
You guys are the pandemic yourselves.
My cat's still under the couch because of you guys. It won't come out.
I threw my phone away.
Yeah. I'm just screaming this out my front door.
Yeah.
So we're not here to try and build the media hype or spread the fear like everybody is trying to do. But we're a freaking prepper podcast, you guys. This is what we do. We're here to talk about this stuff. Look, we don't think you're going to die.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably not. But this is like a possible pandemic situation that has already affected the lives of tons of people. And so this is what we do. So this is why we're talking about it.
It sucks big time.
Yes.
But like this is exactly why we do this. Like you should have some preps ready.
Exactly.
Right now. Obviously, if you watch the news, there's a lot of people that aren't ready and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, a bunch of water. I don't know. That's the first thing I need. And it's like, it's nice to not. I don't feel that. I'm scared about it. Yeah, because it's spreading like wildfire, but I'm like, I have things ready.
Yep.
You know, I can hunker down right now.
And this is why we're preppers.
I tried to tell my work today, I'm not coming in for 4 months.
And they told me to come in.
Yeah, and I had to come in.
Stupid. So we just wanted to say, look, this is why we're doing this. We're not trying to scare anybody. We're trying to get out as much information as we can. And there's a freaking ton of information.
There's a lot of ton.
And there's
a lot of ton.
There's a lot of ton of information. And it changes super rapidly. Like
it does.
Fastly.
I feel like the CDC, it just like goes through their website and the guy's like typing and then he's listening and then he deletes and just types some more stuff. No, that's wrong already.
Yeah.
And deletes.
Yeah.
So
let's start with the very basics, Cameron.
Yeah.
You want to start there?
Yeah. Okay. So what is coronavirus?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not old. This virus has been around a long time.
I mean, it's not new. You said it's not old. Yeah.
I'm just confusing myself.
You're just like CNN.
Yeah. It's not old, it's new.
Yeah.
But it's not new, it's old.
That's right.
So, the coronavirus has been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
SARS and MERS and it's stuff.
Yeah, all those things.
But it's a common one that we still, even day to day in the clinics, suspect it's probably part of somebody's, negative flu swab and negative strep. And it's like, okay, well, you've got some virus, some simple virus. So it's been out there. It's been out a long time. But this one's different in that it's mutated, and it likes to lead people into like respiratory distress, pneumonia primarily. But it always comes back to those things about it attacks the weakest. I mean, that's just how nature is.
Yeah, sure.
But
this one is actually a little bit different though, right? Because the children's
they don't have any documented reports about it affecting them the same way as adults.
Yeah, so that's a little bit
pneumonia.
Odd. Yeah. So there's been no deaths with kids from what I've heard.
Reported anywhere, which is I'm really happy about that.
I'm super happy about that too.
Couldn't
care less about the old people.
Right. It's time to go.
Yeah, you guys have had your run.
The Earth has determined.
I'm just kidding. I love old people.
Yeah, right. So I'm just going to kind of break down some of the symptoms and things to watch for. I mean, I'm suspecting some of you have looked into it already. Or maybe you haven't, and you're just waiting for this podcast. So here we go.
I'm not looking at anything until Cam tells me. That's what they're doing.
And Kobe will go into a little more about where it started and what's going on now. But so the virology, coronavirus, like I said, it's been around a long time, but this one is in the family of the beta coronavirus, not the alpha, the beta, in the same subgenus and the severe that causes SARS. So the coronavirus study group of International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses, they have proposed that this virus be designated severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2. So it's basically SARS again.
That's scary.
That's this freaky thing about viruses is that they mutate. And so obviously this is partly a mutation of those coronaviruses that were causing all the issues. What was it, like 2002, 3?
There was been some later than that too.
So
in the last 10 years.
What are the symptoms? The most common symptom, well, one, what's the incubation period? It's about 14 days, but most cases are approximately about 5 after exposure. But 14 days is a long freaking time.
And that makes it a little bit scary to try and stop the spread, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because the one big issue that China and us even is so that we know there's this threatening virus. It's at the worst time of the year. We get colds, sore throats, and there's flu. So it's like, who goes to the hospital and who doesn't? You go into the hospital and you're in this waiting room or in this area with more viruses, and you're susceptible to those. And so it's a long wait. It's a huge incubation period, and you have these common symptoms that are happening all the time, especially in the winter months. So it's like, who the freak knows what you have? And so that's where it's really been hard for China they have these people that are like, okay, you've been exposed. We don't know how much. We're going to kind of quarantine and watch you. And they're in these, it's taking people away from work and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to spread all over the place. Clinical presentation, pneumonia appears to be the most frequent serious manifestation of the infection. Does everybody get pneumonia? No, not at all. The most common things, fever, cough, dyspnea, which is shortness of breath with exertion type of thing. And then on imaging, chest x-ray, they'll sometimes see infiltrates, which mean pneumonia. So that's the freaky thing, is that it does seem to want to get deep into the lungs and cause pneumonia. Most infections, though, are not severe.
Yeah.
So the critical illnesses is not the most common thing, but it happens a lot more often with it. Reports from the Chinese Center of Disease Control and Prevention include approximately 44,000 confirmed. This just changes all the time. Confirmed infections with an estimation of disease severity. 81% were mild. So they say a huge percentage of those symptoms were mild. That's why it was hard for them to distinguish who did and who didn't have.
And so
this was after they confirmed they did, and they were like, wow, you did have really mild symptoms, and they got over it.
And so that's good and it's bad, right? Because it's bad in a way because if it's mild, a lot of people are just
don't go in.
Oh, I'm just going to go about my day. And then what they do is they spread that to people who are older or who have those underlying causes that.
Because who goes to work with a cold? All of us.
Everybody does.
And so you got that large mass going out into the public and continuing. And then you've got a large mass that's like freaked out coming into the emergency rooms in the hospitals and occupying all the space.
Yeah.
So it's terrible in a bunch of different ways. 14% of all of those were severe, and they had hypoxia. They weren't oxygenating well, and over 50% lung involvement on imaging. So they already had severe pneumonia, and 5% were critical. So a lot of people, 5% were really critical, 81% weren't. So, and those 81% are typically the ones that have kind of been out and about and spreading it.
Yeah.
Overall case fatality rate changes all the freaking time.
It does, yeah.
So at first, this article, and this is coming from Up to Date, which is the medical reference we use, and a lot of it comes from CDC. 2.3%, no deaths were reported among the non-critical cases. And that's still true right now, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then now they're like, wait, it must be between 2 and 4. So the common symptoms is cold symptoms. You got congestion, runny nose, and almost all cases is like 90-something% had fever.
Yeah.
So it looks a ton like flu.
It looks like the flu,
It's just like the flu. And so, yeah, it's hard to distinguish, do I have pneumonia? And I'll talk a little bit later about pneumonia and kind of some things to watch for on your own and when you should seek medical attention.
Yeah.
So,
okay, good.
There's a lot of questions people probably have, and I don't know if I answer very many of them, but transmission is typically through, coughing, sneezing. So the biggest thing that we can do is like freaking wash your hands.
And stay away from people too, right?
And try and isolate yourself. If you have the common cold, then just consider it something that nobody wants and stay, stay clean.
Don't go to the movies. Don't go to Walmart. All those types of things.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll talk a little more about those things and masks and things like that. So.
Sure. Okay, good. Do you want me to move on to the...
Yeah, move on to that.
So where did it originate? I mean, we don't know exactly. This is something that... The hard part is we're pretty sure it came from China, right? Over in Wuhan. But China is a little bit tricky due to the communist regime over there. They don't really give out information as freely as they should. We'll talk about this too, but we don't...
They got an image.
Yeah, they do, and they're trying to keep it. Yeah, right. So they think that this came from animal to human. That's kind of common with coronavirus, as far as I get from this.
Yeah, bats and stuff.
Yeah, so they're saying it has a really similar traits to that of a flu strain that's in bats. So they're guessing that that's probably where it came from. The earliest reported symptoms occurred on December 1st in 2019. So what's that? 3 months at this point, right? And so, they think it came from one of those wet markets which is pretty disgusting. One of those markets where they will
kill.
They're
so gross.
Yeah, it's disgusting. There's a lot of live animals, a lot of weird animals over there they'll kill and eat. And so
they eat everything.
They do, yeah. So the funny thing about this is there's a ton of conspiracies around the origination of the virus. A lot of people... COVID-19 being the CIA's creation to keep China down. That's one of the big ones.
Always.
Because obviously the huge
CIA
portion, huge portion of this is in China, right? Like the large majority of it is in China. Tom Cotton, a U.S. senator, floated the idea that it was created by the Chinese as a bioweapon, which is, I mean, I guess you could look at it that way, but it's killing all their own people,
So wasn't there there's a lab in Wuhan?
There is.
Like
There's a virology lab or something right there in Wuhan, so they're thinking maybe it was an accidental leak from there.
Very possible.
Yeah. But when it comes down to it, don't worry about any of it. It doesn't matter.
Most lab technicians come out with their gloves and stuff on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Go to the market.
Yeah.
Get some deer or some horse meat.
Yeah, and some bat wing.
Yeah, bats are delicious on the way home.
They're perfect.
Eat a wing.
Perfect snack for your transit home. So, like I said, can China be trusted? Probably not.
Yeah.
It's almost 100% sure.
If Russia doesn't trust them.
Yeah, I know. Then
again.
It's almost 100% sure we're not getting the clear numbers from them, right? I mean, there's just... And then a lot of people are saying that there was some...
They could all be dead for all we know.
There might be 3 guys left over
all
there.
of the stuff that we're getting
They're
is
taking
old
pictures.
recordings.
They're taking pictures of those same 3 guys over and over and sending those to CNN.
It's just movies that they've done.
Yeah.
They just keep... Nobody's seen them in the U.S., so
old Godzilla movies and stuff like that,
Just digitally put masks on them all.
Yeah. They all look kind of the same.
Looks like.
They're saying that some of the really early models that they made for this infection, that the numbers that are coming out right now are almost following exactly those models. So they're like, wait, that can't be right. Like it's almost impossible for it to be exactly. And so that's another thing that they're thinking about.
Like they already knew the structure. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, this is what's going to happen.
Look, it ended up being the same one we just drew up.
And so December 30th, there was a doctor named Li Wenliang. I don't know how to say his name, but he dropped a bombshell in his medical school alumni group on the popular Chinese messaging app WeChat. 7 patients from a local seafood market had been diagnosed with a SARS-like illness and quarantined in his hospital. So he started to get the word out to some of his buddies, and within hours, screenshots of his messages had gone viral without his name being blurred. And that's not a good thing when you're in communist China.
Absolutely
so soon after he posted that message, he was accused of rumor mongering by the Wuhan police. He was issued a misdemeanor and was told to never speak about it again. He later died from COVID-19.
Yeah. And this is a young doctor.
Yeah, he was like an ophthalmologist or something like that.
That's what the weirdest thing. I'm like, what the freak
it's insane,
was the ophthalmologist doing?
Yeah.
I guess if he was in school, maybe.
Sure, yeah. So that's, I mean, those are kind of some of the origins of it, but it's still super murky. We don't really exactly know. So let's take a look at current numbers of infected and deaths and things like that. So the numbers I've been getting are from a website that's actually, it's been really good for this. It's covid19info.live. So basically it gives you the latest numbers, and the last update was 9 minutes ago that I'm getting right now. So the confirmed cases are 97,755 right now. Deaths are 3,347, so that gives you like a 3.4% death rate on the numbers as of now. And the large majority of that comes from China. So I think the numbers from China are, if it'll show me here, maybe it's not going to show me. Anyways, huge number from China. There's been 3,000 deaths from China alone, over 3,000. So that's, you can tell that's
which with China's population, that's
nothing. That's a drop in the bucket, right? Really that's a drop in the Titan rain.
But still, it's human lives. So.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But, you know, the infected numbers are almost certainly higher than we know, like we said, because the testing piece of this has been a little awkward for like the CDC and the WHO. They've been having a hard time getting the kits out there.
The kits got contaminated.
Yeah.
And so that's the hard thing is like they want to detect and know if these people have SARS to quarantine them, but you can see how it's easy to spread. It's like you can't contain, nor do people even. Did you see in the news the one dude just went to a thing? They're like, we suspect you have it.
Stay at home.
Stay home. I want to go to my meeting.
I got a lunch meeting. I got to be.
It's a private one, and I want that steak.
We got a
freaking moron.
We got a table at TGI Fridays. I'm going. You know. So that's been bad. So that death rate, like I said, is probably wrong.
I ain't missing that.
I'm missing that. I got half off appetizers
Nobody
today.
ever buys me lunch.
Yeah. So 11 deaths so far in the U.S. And so that's been updating each day. So it's not a lot. What is there, 350 million people or something? Yeah. So that's a tiny fraction.
I didn't look like into that a lot, but didn't it originate in like a care center? Like the worst.
Here?
I understand in Washington,
yes,
it was like a care center.
A care center.
So it's like the worst place. It's like
they wiped out a bunch of those old people. There.
That cleared out that place pretty quick.
Yeah, and like we talked about, the symptoms are so similar to other sicknesses. There is a little bit of good news though that I've been hearing in the past couple of days that the spread in China has significantly slowed.
Has it?
Yes, because it was kind of like that hockey stick graph where it just shot up. But now it's sort of done one of these where it's kind of leveled off. So those numbers have really slowed down. So either they're getting control of it over there or they're just not giving us the correct numbers or whatever it might be. So hopefully that's true and it's all slowing down.
Yeah, hopefully.
And which means that hopefully we can get control of it. But we just don't know.
We don't.
You know. So Cam, like, how concerned should we be? And like, what do the outlooks look like? You know what I mean? What are the outcomes of this?
Well, I think that's what a lot of people have a hard time knowing. It's like, how do we look at this?
Mm-hmm.
And some people are freaking out big time. Like I went to the grocery store yesterday and I was just getting a pop.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting anything to stock up on. I probably should. Just to pad my, supplies. But, this lady had a cart full of gallons of water just completely stacked to the ceiling almost. And You know, and I know in the Wasatch Front here in Utah, like Costco's cleaned out. Like,
they are.
Their water, their bottles and everything. So
I went to Walmart this morning, and the toilet paper aisle was like 85%
sons of
cleaned out.
So they got like the not even single ply left. It's like a half a ply.
It's like it's just dust.
As soon as
just
you
a bunch of dust
tear
in there.
it just goes into debris that you breathe in. I don't know what happened to it.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the worst part is how it's going to affect our daily lives outside being sick.
Yeah.
So,
and it already has.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was it? Texas? Did they just close schools too? Wasn't it?
I don't know about Texas. I know Washington.
Certain things, post office, you know, are things that we use on a daily basis could be compromised because of shutdown.
Sure, yeah.
Post offices, ATMs, banks, you know, your plastic, if there's issues with using those and you have to default to cash, you're not going to be able to get it out if, you know. And this is extreme, and some places have done this. I think me and you were looking at that article that showed that town in Colorado. They had like completely blocked themselves off from everything to survive the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
But if your town went that extreme, then you don't get replenished supplies from trucking and all that stuff.
So they're saying, I want to talk about this real quick. So what is the worst case scenario? Like, how could this spread? Like, is it just going to be, do you know what I mean?
The virus itself.
The virus itself. Yeah. Where could it go? So what I've been reading, and this is all over the place, but a lot of experts are saying it could be to 70 to 80% of the world could be infected, right? I mean, that to me is ridiculous. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And again, maybe they're just fear mongering, and maybe that's not completely true.
It's hard to really think about it in how much it would affect things, because we deal with an infection every year this bad. You know, the flu does this.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the H1N1, we watched it do the same thing.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, yes, it's probably going to hit those levels, but we still don't really know enough to know how much and how deadly it really is until it really goes after.
And so if it really does get to the point where it's like even 50% of the world is infected, it changes a bunch of things, especially if you're going to the hospital to get treatment. Right? If you have to get breathing treatments, if you have to get any kind of regular care, it's going to be hard to get, right? I read an article that said in Wuhan, at the peak of it, when it just like shot up like crazy, they said that the death rate spiked to 18% because of the hospitals being overwhelmed. They just couldn't handle everybody.
No.
Right?
And so, the healthcare workers ran out of supplies.
Yeah.
And they're working 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they're trying to screen these people that are coming in no matter what. They're like, I think I was exposed.
Yeah.
And then those people are getting exposed. It's just, that's the biggest mess of the whole thing is. And then the more like the mass populations that get exposed and contaminated with this virus, then it mutates more. And who knows down the road what we're going to get.
Exactly.
SARS number 3.
Yeah. And so again, right now, it's not that big of a deal unless you're in one of those areas that are super hit, but you have to be prepared for it to maybe go nuts.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why we're talking about this. So
that's what we always talk about.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a huge like awakening of like, I really do need to have some like, in this day and age, this kind of thing can happen.
Yeah.
And it may still. I mean, this still could be way worse than we're expecting.
Exactly.
But be prepared for it.
And so a lot of the naysayers, well, not naysayers, but a lot of the people out there I'm hearing, it was like, well, the regular flu is worse than this. Don't worry about it.
Right.
And so what do you say to those people about that? Like, what do you say to them? I mean,
well, we have a way of preventing the complications of flu. We have immunizations for the flu.
Sure.
And it still kills a lot of people, but this virus is obviously more aggressive and especially causing more pneumonia. And pneumonia leads to hospitalizations for, days.
Yeah, sure.
And then like once you get over pneumonia, if you've ever had pneumonia, it takes weeks.
Oh, it takes forever.
And so, that ripples through the community on these people. So yeah, the flu does kill more people, but this thing it's only started, and it's obviously a bit more complicated and harder to detect. And we don't have anything to like when you get the flu and you've had the flu shot, it's way less severe.
Yeah.
We don't have anything to stop that.
No.
So you don't know.
Yeah.
So I think you have to take it more serious than the flu for sure.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like, no, we got the cold. Everybody gets the cold.
Cancer's worse.
But
don't worry about it.
We're not telling you to panic and go clean the shelves off.
Yeah.
You should have hopefully already been somewhat prepared, but you have to take it serious and think, what if we are quarantined and we're told to stay home? You've got to be prepared for that. And
it's happening. It's not like this something that's an asinine thing to think about. It's happening in a lot of places right now. So I think it's something you have to see. So also, let's see, I think the duration is actually longer than the regular flu too, right? Is that true?
It's way longer.
Right. And so which also means that you're more susceptible to other infections.
Exactly.
And it's leaving you out of work for longer. And all of these things pile up. And we'll talk about this, like what are the economic effects? What are the socioeconomic effects? What are all these different things that might happen?
Yeah.
And then the death rate is obviously much different than the flu, what we're getting right now. So it's hard to tell yet, but yeah. So the seasonal flu, from what I'm reading, is like less than 0.1% death rate, right? But it kills 250 to 500,000 people globally, which is a ton. So a Category 5 pandemic would compare to the 1918 flu pandemic, which has an estimated death rate of 2%. That's what they think that was. It would kill tens of millions of people.
Wow.
And so we're at that level of death rate right now with the numbers that we have. So if it spread to those numbers, we're looking at like a 1918 situation.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Hopefully.
We don't know, right? So is the transmission, the way that it's transmitted, similar from COVID-19 to the flu?
It sounds a little bit more aggressive than the flu. Like the flu's primarily droplets, and whereas this one, it's detected in the urine, it's detected in the stool, blood, and from what I'd read, like the MERS or whatever, it did not move into those. So it's a lot more. I mean,
it's
virulent.
more infectious. Yeah.
And like you were saying, like the duration of time that you're sick, and that's when I have people come into the clinic that are like, I've been dealing with this cold, and it's 3 weeks now, and my mucus is changing to a little bit more thicker. Your body's like wiped out, like your body's tried to hold on as long as it can, and now you're susceptible to those secondary infections.
Yeah.
So this is obviously the duration of this is going to lead to more of that, more bacterial secondary infections, which is another thing, like we were saying, is kind of scary.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then the what was the other thing I was going to say about it? How do we know that, we get the flu every season? How do we know this isn't going to come up every season?
And they don't know that.
Like,
they think
it'll be SARS-3 and then SARS-4, and they're going to, obviously they'll be working on immunizations for it, but that's the thing with viruses is they mutate enough. One season our flu immunization helps, and then the next season it's like 40% like this season. And if we have this reoccurring, then we got to deal with the flu, and it's just like
it's scary.
So you can't consider it on the same level as influenza and the cold and all those. This is more serious, and it's obviously spreading a lot faster, being a new virus.
Yeah, well, I've also heard reports that people that have gotten over it have then been tested again later and have it again
too. So
who knows what that means? Strains. I don't know what that means, but again, it's something to think about.
They've been doing trials too. Like, we just don't have enough studies, but I've been reading that they're using different antivirals to see if it'll help. We have Tamiflu for influenza. So that's the thing. It's like influenza does infect, and we have these treatments, whereas this one, we're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
and
we don't know.
Hopefully we figure it out fast enough before it starts to mutate again. And So
they're saying that the R naught, which basically means like how many people get infected.
R naught,
yeah. So a regular influenza is 1.3, means like if you're infected, 1.3 people will get the virus from you. They're saying that for this coronavirus, for COVID-19, it's actually 2. Is what they're saying, and which is basically the same as SARS, which makes sense, right? Since it is a SARS type thing.
And what did the SARS? It killed like 800 or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
It slowed down.
The numbers there. Yeah, it did slow down.
It retreated and revamped itself and came back a lot harder.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, what are these secondary things that may come up? Not just getting sick. What are the impacts that could have? You talked about ATMs and banks and, all those different things that could be affected.
I think
from this.
The obvious worst thing is the healthcare facilities are going to be swamped.
Oh, yeah.
That's what hurt China the most, and that's what will in a community that gets it is going to have the biggest issue. One, like ours, I've talked to our hospital. I don't even know that they know how to get the testing for it. So it's like,
that blows my mind.
If somebody has been on a cruise and thinks they may have it, it's going to take days to get a proper testing.
Yeah.
And then that person has already exposed themselves. So the healthcare part is going to get swamped, and then you're going to have people, like we were talking about, coming in for colds, not knowing if they have it.
Yep.
And then they're getting contaminated within the hospitals themselves. And then you've got out of work because they don't know.
Yeah.
Stay away from people for 14 days. That's a long freaking time.
Yep.
And most businesses are going to struggle big time with that.
And there's already lots of effects.
Your garbage man.
Yeah.
Your the police department, like all those people that work in a community setting, healthcare workers, nursing facilities. It's just like they're going to get
burger flippers.
So they don't know. They can't be tested, so they are told to stay home. So who takes care of all the other people? That's a big thing. In schools themselves, you're closing down schools. You have your kids at home, and there's a lot of people that have both parents working.
What do you do?
So what do you do with that?
Yeah, it becomes a really hard thing. And this has happened all over the place. Italy, the entire country, I think, has closed all the schools.
It's so insane to even think that can happen.
Japan has done it. There's an entire county in Washington State that has closed down schools.
Yeah,
so this is like I don't know, but this is a real deal. Like this is something that's actually happening. Some of the other crazy things that I just saw, Iran is going to release 54,000 prisoners. Because it's going rampant through Iran. They've actually had people like way up in the government who have died from coronavirus, from COVID-19.
Yeah, I think it was really...
So they're closing all the schools and the universities, and then they're just going to release like 54,000 prisoners. No big deal. It's just the flu, right? So obviously this is different than the flu. Things are happening that don't normally happen with the regular flu. California just declared a state of emergency, along with Washington and Florida, all in states of emergencies because of COVID-19. Like Cam talked about, school closures. The school that my kids go to have already sent out emails talking about some of this stuff and what might happen. And so,
there's like no way you can put a number on the loss of money.
It's insane.
And like
trillions.
Shut down so much
trillions.
Stuff.
And we're going to talk more about that too.
And we know China too, that I've read. There's a lot of stuff that we use in medications.
Yeah, I'll talk about that later too. Yeah, it's nuts. So quarantines are another thing that's really affecting people. We talked about this a little bit, but there's going to be more quarantines. No doubt that there's going to be a lot more quarantines.
I keep trying to quarantine myself. I'm like, honey,
so
I got to stay home.
That same county in Washington where they have those 31 coronavirus cases, they have 9 deaths there. They just, I think it was this morning or last night, recommended that the 2.2 million residents work from home. Like, what is that going to do to that economy there? And they said, if you're over 60, don't leave your house.
There's a ton of people. Yeah.
Like, what? That's insane, right? So
if you want to hit up national parks, now's the time.
Now's the time to do it, because all the old folks are sitting at their house. Another possible thing that could happen, and which has sort of already happened, is martial law. It gets bad enough that they say, okay.
Has it started to show that? I didn't see.
Italy. It happened basically in Italy. There was armed military members enforcing quarantines, enforcing like no travel restrictions and all those types of things. So who's to say if it doesn't get worse that could happen? Again, you have to be aware of it. Probably not going to, but be aware that that's something that could happen. Food shortages. In Wuhan, this has been a problem. If it continues to spread here, it could be a problem. Like Cam talked about, drug shortages is going to be a really big deal possibly coming up, because about 90% of the active ingredients used by U.S. companies in drug manufacturing come from China.
So crazy.
90%. So Michael Wessel, he's the commissioner of the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission, said generic antibiotics and blood pressure meds are going to be the first affected.
Nice.
So
the ones that are by far the most common.
Yeah, everybody uses those, right? And so again, another secondary or tertiary effect of what this virus could do, even if it's not killing you. again, it doesn't have to kill you to affect you.
Yeah.
Right? So another thing is the economic downturn, and we've already seen this all over the place, right? So there was a 2008 internal report by the World Bank that estimated the impact of a mild flu pandemic, which would be a 0.7% of global GDP. A moderate pandemic would be 2%, and a severe would be 4.8%. So that would be the difference between a slowdown, a downturn, and a global recession if that did happen. Last week on Wall Street, they had the worst week since 2008, and we all remember how bad 2008 was, right? The Dow Jones Industrial fell 12.4% last week. Literally people lost thousands and millions of dollars because of this. Stocks went down again today quite a bit because it's been it came up and then it went down. Everybody's just
I'm going to buy in a little.
Yeah.
It goes down. Yeah.
They're unsure about exactly what to do. So this is probably going to be a little unstable for the next little while.
For sure.
Again, it's not a virus killing you. It just could affect your everyday life. Major companies are beginning to cancel conferences and travel plans within the U.S. So this doesn't seem like it should be that big of a deal, but it really is. It impacts the economy because that means hotel rooms are empty. It means the airlines aren't taking passengers. Right. It means that the convention centers don't have conventions. And there's been a bunch of this going on. I think you told me the other day that the NCAA is even thinking about, with March Madness, not having people at the games.
Yeah.
Like,
could you imagine
insane.
just hearing sneakers?
Yeah, it would be like
no crap.
It'd be so freaking weird.
It'd be way weird.
But it's again, it's affecting.
And that was the thing that I was like, with all these things that are happening, the only guaranteed thing we know to stop the virus is prevention. To stay away from it. And and so knowing that that's the only guaranteed thing, that's why it's kind of freaky, because it's can go through your community and shut everything down.
Yep. And so I think the economic impact is going to have,
it's massive.
No matter what at this point, it's going to affect us. So if the spread of the virus continues, like if it gets bigger and bigger, like we talked about the demand on hospitals, basically they can't continue with their normal everyday billable hour work because all they're dealing with is all these coronavirus cases or COVID-19. So this, on your local economy, it slows everything down. It's a huge impact. Like if that money's not flowing in because of these other things, it's scary, right?
Yeah. So going to that comparison of flu and coronavirus, look how much we deal with the flu every year and we still function and everything still goes. But now this is how much of a change it's making to the world. And again,
even if it is overhyped, it doesn't matter because it's happening.
You're already affected in some way.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if it's overhyped. It probably is, but because of that, it's affecting you, right? China reported its lowest manufacturing numbers on record for last month. That is a huge deal because, everything is manufactured in China. So that means there's less stuff being imported, which means prices start skyrocketing, and again, this is something that could turn into an economic meltdown type situation. Who knows?
Matchbox cars.
Yeah, you're not going to
$1.25 now.
That's ridiculous. I'm not paying that. I'm not going to pay it, right? So we have a listener who actually works at a major hospital in Boston. We're not going to say their name, but they're saying if anybody has traveled to an affected country, there's a mandatory 14-day furlough before they can go back to work. 13. Yeah. That's a big deal.
That's a ton of time.
I don't even know what I would tell my boss.
I can't even tell you right now how much paperwork that would give me. I fill out FMLA. Somebody sprains their ankle and they've used their sick time and they go 1 or 2 extra days into that. I had to fill out all this paperwork for them. I had to, this was blah, 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 blah. Basically, there's probably going to be people quitting their jobs
because of that. And they said that they have to question.
Huge.
They have to question every patient, and if they have traveled to one of those countries and they have a cough, 14-day quarantine. Boom, just like that. This affects the entire economy. This affects the entire economy, and if it gets worse, it just keeps doubling up on itself. It's an exponential thing, right?
Totally a snowball effect.
The last thing on the economy side of it, the Fed, I think it was yesterday or the day before, they had an emergency meeting and lowered the interest rates.
Oh, yeah, you were saying that.
To try and help.
Stimulate.
Yeah, stimulate and level this out. So, again, maybe it's overblown, but there's people in really high
coronavirus sale.
Positions that understand that this is a big deal. So that's why they wouldn't do that. They don't do that for the seasonal flu, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
I got my house on a coronavirus grant.
Yeah.
Got my coronavirus.
USDA COVID-19 grant. It's great. It's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so we talked about panic. This is a big thing that we need to worry about. I mean, this is why we're preppers. So we don't panic, right?
It drives me nuts that people misunderstand
Yeah.
what panic is for like a prepper. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there are people that are panicking and freaking out, but I don't think worry and preparedness should be interpreted as panic.
No, I completely
agree. And that's what's
agree.
so annoying. People on social media are just like, you guys are contributing to the problem. I'm like, dude, the problem's there.
Yeah, it's already
gonna
there.
Affect your life.
Let us talk about it.
No matter what.
Let us talk about it and help. That's all. That's all. That's why we've always been here, right?
So dumb.
It's like,
so dumb.
It's like I've been telling people, like, we talk about the craziest stuff. We talk about volcanoes,
asteroid strikes,
asteroids, but no one's getting mad at us for that.
I know, but this one they're like already a little nervous, and then don't talk about it.
It
if
scares
I don't
me.
hear it, I don't get scared.
No. They're like closing their ears and
Dad, I can't stop thinking about coronavirus. I can't sleep.
Cam and Kobe's fault. So yeah, there is panic. And we've seen this with
this is another thing that adds to the complication.
And that's why us as preppers, we don't panic. Like, really, I didn't need to go to the store and get stuff. I felt like I'm okay, but I did anyways.
Yeah.
I went and got some extra water.
I had posted, I'm like, this is a good opportunity to pad your supplies.
Sure.
You don't need to go over the top.
A little bit extra water, a little bit extra food, some more TP. I mean, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I got some more like bulk toothpaste.
I've been wanting to stay home for 14 days for weeks.
My wife and I were talking about it like, oh, this might not be that bad. If we got 2 weeks off of work and just binge on Netflix,
I know.
I think I'd be all right with it.
Oh, man.
Obviously, that's, ingest.
And then following that 14 days, my schedule will be full of depression and irritability, anger.
Suicide.
Kids will be, abuse will go up.
So we've seen all this panic shopping for, obviously that mask thing was insane. The N95 run.
Yeah.
The water. The same masks, these same N95 masks that I bought like a year and a half ago for $20 on Amazon were like $85.
Oh, you should have flipped them.
I should have. I know. I really should have. Although I heard yesterday or the day before that Amazon's finally cracking down on that and they're starting to kick those people off because they won't let them actually do that, which is kind of a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Water, long shelf life foods are being bought up everywhere. Mm-hmm. There's this crazy panic in Australia for toilet paper, which was a kind of a crazy thing. Like they just bought up all the toilet paper. So there was
Kobe style panic.
I know. This is this funny thing that I saw. So the NT News, which is a Darwin-based newspaper, had a tweet on Thursday with a video showing a special 8-page insert that can be cut into toilet paper, which is hilarious. So they just have these 8 pages in the middle of their newspaper that have like the perforation and stuff. So you can just cut it up. It was awesome. I'm like,
genius.
This is how we save the world. It really is.
I wonder if bidets have gone up.
I don't know. They probably have.
So that's one thing too. Is like, I know that you don't know about the water supply, but it takes a lot to shut down water being delivered to your home.
Sure.
So, get your water supplies in place, but you don't need to buy it all up because
get some extra.
It's probably still going to be, you're going to be able to turn the tap on.
Until we get to that point, the power goes out. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know. And that's why we're prepping.
Imagine having all your bathtubs full of water bobs right now. Yeah. Well, we haven't been able to take a shower for weeks.
But we got it. Got
a ton.
And then obviously there's been a run on hand sanitizer. It's been insane. You can't even get it in our town anymore.
We've talked about hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
And it doesn't kill everything.
No.
So you need to be washing soap.
And they haven't even done tests with this COVID-19 yet, so you don't know. But soap and water is your biggest deal, right? You got to make sure you get that. So we don't know if there's going to be riots if this gets worse. There's a lot of different things. There's been travel bans all over the place. Airlines have stopped services to Italy. Flights between the U.S. and Beijing and Shanghai can't get it. Also to Tokyo and South Korea, all been suspended. So doesn't matter if it's killing you, it's affecting everyday life right now. So it's something you need to think about, Cameron.
I always do.
Good. Do you want to talk about survival boxes while we're right here?
Oh, I don't have that one.
You don't?
I have Battle Box.
Oh, that's right. Battle Box. You are correct, sir.
Finally.
Most subscription boxes are full of samples and junk you'll never use, but not Battle Box. It's the monthly subscription box for men. full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of handpicked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here's a sampling of what users received this month. Parabolic mirror, solar fire starter, really cool. DEFCON 5 Zulu throwing knife set, and the Survival Frog Quad Pro solar bank with wireless charging. That's a sexy...
You lose power, you can keep charging your phone.
Yep. Sexy little deal there.
It really is.
All this badassness starts at about $30 a month. They've shipped almost 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2017. Our listeners get a free tactical knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. That's trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first battle box plus a free tactical knife at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. All right, Cameron.
Freaking go and do it.
Yeah, do it. I mean, do it now while you can.
I didn't want to try this reader, so I would have butchered it.
Yeah, while you can. So, Cam, what do we need to be doing to prepare?
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about in your panic mode right now that we are promoting.
Yeah.
What do you go and do? How do you prepare for this? So from the CDC, they say we should practice what is called non-pharmaceutical interventions, or NPIs. These are non-medical, common sense actions that you can take to help slow the spread of the pandemic flu before a vaccine becomes available.
Again, the vaccine probably won't be available till next year.
Right. And that'll be mutated. And yeah. In addition to staying away from sick people and staying home if you become ill, FEMA recommends simple actions like washing your freaking hands. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you how many people don't do this. Mm-hmm. I have people come in like, look at this rash on my balls. And then they just pull their pants up and sit back down. I'm like, you can go wash your hands now.
Yeah,
oh,
go
okay.
ahead. Oh.
I'm like, ugh.
Oh, you want me to? Oh, all right.
Oh, I haven't done that.
Yeah. Been a week, I guess. Let's try it.
You got gloves. You're not going to No, you need to wash your hands. Covering your mouth, washing your hands when you cough and sneeze. Those are the simple things that they know, and we know time and time again that those protect you from spreading freaking sickness. So for communities, NPIs can include the temporary closing of schools, making workplace sick leave policies more flexible. Bosses, listen, to allow workers to stay at home, and postponing or canceling mass gatherings such as sporting events and concerts, festivals. So your birthday party, cancel it. Unless you're maybe by yourself. That's fine.
Yeah.
You can have your own birthday party. But yeah, so these are some of the actions that they say to do and to consider. So
what are some things? How they keep saying don't touch your face and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So there was a California official that did something, I think it was this morning. They were giving everybody this rundown of what to do to stay safe. They're like, wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your face, people. You can't do it. And then like the second after that, she licks her finger and turns the page on her thing. It is the most hilarious video you've ever seen.
It's amazing how much you touch your face.
It really is, yeah.
It's super hard to do. So let's talk a little bit about gear. First thing I want to talk about is masks. A lot of people have questions about the freaking masks.
There's a lot of questions there.
Are masks useful? Yes. They're probably the most useful when you are sick and protecting you from spreading, from spreading it amongst your friends, family, and all that. The little surgical ones that are paper thin, they're not useful in protecting you against this virus, nor are they really that protective against getting any other virus.
Yeah.
So you don't need these, and the hospitals and personnel that work in these settings need these. So let's just cut out. I think it's because I stepped back.
Yeah.
So if you have some masks, you're good. If you don't have some masks, you're good.
Yeah. Like that being said, like I do have some N95 masks. I'm still probably gonna wear them if it gets nuts.
I am too.
Like you're gonna feel better about it,
right? You do, and it helps. It will. I mean, it cuts down, no matter what, some of the contamination that you could get from.
And I feel like nobody really is clear on it. Like everybody's like,
they are.
You need it. You don't need it. You might need it.
I know.
He needs it. I don't need it, but you need it. But that guy doesn't need it. Yeah. That's what I feel like is going on right now.
Exactly
so I'm just like, hell, I'm just gonna get one.
So surgical masks are pretty much don't get those.
Yeah,
don't
the
worry
surgical
about those
ones for sure. Yeah,
and the respirators. So they're the ones that kind of form fit over your nose. So I just wanted to put a note on this. So the respirators, when I was in Washington, we worked with a lot of migrant workers, and we were always worried about tuberculosis. We had to have fit tests. So you would wear the mask, and then you breathe like this Kool-Aid stuff in, and if you can taste it, or you can see marks, like then it's not a fit mask and it's useless. Pretty much all the ones you're going to buy are going to have that poor of a fit.
Yeah.
So,
and you have to shave.
I'm
your
not
face.
saying it's useless to have the mask. I think it can cut down the susceptibility. But if you don't have them, you just need to go back to practicing.
Don't spend $100 for a mask.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
That's totally not worth it. And these, like I said, they need to be used in these, like China's struggling because they don't have anything to protect. They're probably they are putting bras on their faces.
Bat wings on their face. It'll work.
I don't know where it came from, eating bat soup.
Yeah. Why are we getting these diseases?
I did see
bat soup.
China like banned like wild animal consumption, all that. I'm like, a little late, China.
Yeah.
If it even came from that. They're just trying to throw you off, make you think that they thought. But yeah, so like even a bandana can be effective at protecting, your spit and crap like that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't stress out a ton. If you don't have masks, don't spend an outrageous amount on them.
Even if you're getting a fitted one, you have to shave your face.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think 99% of anybody who listens to this has a beard. I'm pretty sure that statistic is correct.
Yeah.
So you have to shave your face or you're not, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So
most razor blades are going to go skyrocket in price. And limit your like purchasing of medical supplies that you probably aren't going to need, like surgical gloves and things like that.
Chest tubes.
Yeah, chest tubes. But you really like the biggest thing is just staying away from it and following the directions to quarantine yourself. If you have these symptoms and you're not sure, like stay home. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the things you should have at home to help yourself too. You just eat them. Eat as much as you want. Items to get now, like some hydration fluids. And I don't mean like an IV bag. If you have that, that's great. But like there's those hydration salts. Gatorade and stuff like that can be useful. Having a variety of those things. Because when you get sick, even though you feel like you lose, I'm not dehydrated because you're producing 400,000 gallons of snot.
Yeah.
You are slowly dehydrating and you need that mucus secretion to help clear off the virus. So make sure you have ways to keep hydrated. If you have any of those fish antibiotics. So I talked about this and this is personal opinion here and, take away my title.
This is not medical advice.
Yeah, dude, this is not medical advice at all.
It's never medical advice.
But I've spoken, me and the doctor have talked about this. In the case that we have these patients that come in that are sick and they've been sick for a while and they're just not getting better. And I know people are going to freak out about this and say, overuse of antibiotics. No. Yeah. If my family gets sick and they've had this virus and they're getting worse, I am starting an antibiotic. Because secondary infections, you do not know for sure. You can't tell if the pneumonia is viral or if what they have, there are some clinical symptoms that we watch for, but in this case, when you're home, you don't want to take them in. You feel like maybe they're getting a little worse. If you have them, I'd start them.
So it could be a secondary infection besides the viral thing.
Okay. So your immune system's down and you've contracted or picked
some
up
sort
another
of bacteria.
thing.
Yeah.
Augmentin, azithromycin, doxy, levaquin are all great antibiotics for lung infections.
Cool.
So now that's not medical advice to follow. Like if you don't want to take them, there's antibiotic overuse, and I 100% agree with that. That's a bad thing. I'm just saying for myself, if my family gets sick and I have antibiotics, I'm starting them if they're getting worse. Pulse oximeters. So these are cheap, and I think every person should have these because they're only like $25, and they're the ones you put on your finger. You go in the doctor's office, they're going to put it on there, check your pulse, and they're going to check your heart rate. That's the same thing.
Oxygen.
Check your oxygen and your pulse. But they're dirt cheap and they're fairly accurate, and it would help you to monitor how bad your symptoms are getting. If you're having struggle breathing and you put it on and your oxygen's 95, you're fine.
You're okay.
You've got time to kind of watch it a little longer. If you put it on and you're 81, then you've got pneumonia or until proven otherwise. And that probably needs more medical attention. If you have oxygen, like sometimes you can get these tanks and fill them up. There's a whole thing that goes into that. But if you have it, that's great. Because that's a lot of times what you'll get discharged with or put on in the hospital. You're going to get oxygen. So that's a hard one to get. So don't worry too much about that. Antipyretics have tons of, these things are going to become limited in a scenario where you don't produce very many. Get your Tylenol, ibuprofen, Aleve, aspirin, get a variety. And those are going to help a ton with the symptoms, the body aches, the chills, help your fever. When the fever's down, you're not dehydrating as much.
Yeah.
And then consider something for nausea. A lot of people have reported nausea and diarrhea with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So another thing that would accelerate your dehydration. Blood pressure cuffs are pretty cheap, and a stethoscope is pretty cheap. You can listen online to what it sounds like to hear pneumonia. Not all people have this, but like you listen to the lower lung fields and you hear like a crackling sound. It's like it's sticking and it's wet. And that's a not more obvious sign that doesn't always happen, but there's ways that you could, with basic medical skills, take care of your family and watch.
And not have to go into the hospital.
And not overwhelm the hospital with more stuff that doesn't need to be there. Learn to count respirations. So I'll talk a little bit about the importance of vitals in just a quick medical tip. But the masks, the best thing is probably to have whoever's sick wear the mask.
To wear the mask, yeah.
And then, because you still need somebody taking care of them. So if you both wear a mask, it's good, but it's better for them. And then if you have like Visqueen or any of those different like vinyl things that you can make a little quarantine room.
Yeah.
That's going to be
even better.
Super helpful to kind of keep somebody away from the rest of the family or the group. Lysol, Clorox, any of those things to just kill whatever's left over. I think they found on stainless, like the coronavirus was only lasting. Like stainless is pretty good against antibacterial and bacteriostatic and things like that.
Yeah.
I think on stainless steel they found it was like roughly 3 days.
Oh,
so
still a long time, man.
It is a long time.
Yeah.
So you basically just want to keep nuking everything with Lysol, Clorox. That stuff freaking kills humans.
Yeah.
So anyways, those are the things that I think would be important to have at home to take care of yourself, your family, and kind of watch the symptoms. And I'll talk a little more about vitals at the very end.
Yeah, and I also think, I mean, beyond that, like we always talk about, food.
Right.
Water.
These are the things that have to already be there.
Additional medications, all of those things. I mean, I would be thinking about that right now. Are you on a medication?
Yeah.
Do you need to go to your doctor and see if you could get some additional? Because if you're quarantined in your house for 30 days and you've only got 14
I've already
days.
started to push people's meds out further. I'm like, go get 90 days. And sometimes we can even get them even more. The controls are obviously harder, but most of the time you don't need those for sure.
Yeah, so food, water, medications. Also, make sure you have like board games and things like that. Because
I've like made sure, I'm like, all right, make sure I can play DVDs and like
100%.
pulling out some of that older tech.
You're going to need it. You just never know.
If your kids are home that long and you're home that long, you've got to get them occupied somehow.
100%. So what if you have to travel right now? That's what kind of gets a little bit scary too. I say one of the easiest things you could do, one of the best things you can do before you travel is go to the CDC website. And if you go to cdc.gov/travel/notices, they have all of the travel notices depending on where you're going. And then there's actually like 3 warning levels when you get there. So there's the watch level 1, which is green, which is saying, hey, just practice usual precautions. Wash your hands after you pee and poo, dummy. The same stuff you would always do, right?
You should be doing.
Should be doing. And there's alert level 2, which is yellow, and that says practice enhanced precautions. The travel health notice describes additional precautions added or defined or specific at-risk population. And there's warning level 3, which is red, avoid all non-essential travel to this destination. The outbreak is of high risk to travelers, and no precautions are available to protect against the identified increased risk. 100% that's what's going on if you're trying to go to Wuhan. They're going to tell you, no, you can't go anywhere.
I want to check it out.
I want to see what's going on over there. What's going on in Wuhan?
I think I can help. No, you can't.
I had the flu last year. Got over it pretty easy.
Pretty much immune to everything.
Yeah.
Get me in there. Get me in there.
Don't worry about it. I got some athlete's foot last year. Boom, gone.
No medication. My body
medication.
cures stuff like that. It's like
So
Wolverine.
Just be thinking about it. Understand what the outbreak is, how it's spread. Don't go on a cruise right now, idiots.
That's crazy. How many people are still going on cruises?
Why
I'm like, why not postpone it?
Just wait. It's not worth the $100 discount.
I think
you're
most of
get.
these places are being pretty reasonable about reimbursing. I don't know.
They probably are, yeah. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't go on a cruise right now.
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Wash your hands like it's your damn job. Just keep washing your hands. Don't touch your face. If
PhD in hand washing.
Masks are going to help, like we talked about, maybe. Keep your distance from people. Airplanes are a little scary, and I'm a little worried because I do have to next month.
Yeah, that's right.
I've got to go to Vegas, so I'll be on an airplane, and I'll be in a place where there's a whole bunch of Asians. So this ought to be pretty interesting for me. They haven't yet.
Yeah, it's like Sony, Samsung, like all the major.
They haven't yet canceled NAB, which I go to pretty much every year. They have a bunch of stuff on the website saying we're still going.
NAB or NAMBA?
NAB. So, think about it. If you're going on a plane, it wouldn't hurt to have some disinfectant wipes and wipe down the seats before you sit down. Or if you're taking an Uber, wipe down the seat before you get in there. If you get into your hotel, just freaking kick the damn TV remote into the garbage, burn the shower curtain, and disinfect everything in the room. Yeah, I'm just telling you. If you're in a foreign country, don't even make eye contact with an animal.
Get a room and sleep in the tub.
Yeah, even then, I don't know, man.
Tubs are gross, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to fill it up with Lysol and then sleep in that's probably a good idea.
Just wear a freaking a dry suit and submerge yourself in Lysol.
That's what I would do.
Ain't nothing getting me.
Well, I'll be all right.
That's not a bad idea.
Worth it. Double check your health insurance. Make sure it covers you to wherever you're going because you might need it.
Yeah.
Look at the food and water that you consume. No bat soup. Don't even think about bat soup. Don't.
Bat rinds. Don't eat those right
rinds, now. Yeah. Bat jerky, none of it. Don't eat it. And just make sure you have like your regular precautions, first aid kit, med kit, extra medications and all those types of things. So
yeah,
if you be thinking about it, all right?
Yeah. Take it a little more seriously. Yeah. It's just the flu. Don't worry about it.
So is there any other gear that we should consider?
Just some basic stuff that I'm like, if you can get like the painter coveralls, those are good. If you have to take care of somebody that's sick, it keeps it keeps your clothes from getting those.
You don't want your FUBU getting mucus on it.
Yeah. I don't want my big chump.
Yeah.
Or no, chump gear and Big Johnson. Big Johnson shirts are getting way dirty.
Yeah.
And then like have a washroom, get like you can get those big vats that you could just throw a bunch of crap in and
vats, not bats.
Yeah. I got to make sure you understood what I said there.
Not bats.
Vat.
Mm-hmm. V as in vagina.
Yeah, right to the
not
point.
B as in butthole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Victor.
Oh, okay, Victor.
Vagina.
That's fine.
So like in my garage, when I come home, I go right down to bare skin.
I was like, where are we going with this?
No, out in my garage, I hang my clothes away from actually it is kind of close to the door, but I try to keep like my clothes from work away because I see RSV and flu and I don't want to spread it in my house. Doesn't matter. They go to school. It's 50 times more contaminated.
Yeah, it definitely is.
But I'm probably going to put a little wash bay out there too, where you can
that's a good idea.
Do some soap and water out in the garage if you have to go out. Goggles, keeping your eyes protected. They have those masks that have like the little plastic thing. Don't try and find those now because I'm sure they're gone. But just getting some regular goggles just to keep. I'm just saying this in terms of like taking care of
like swimming goggles.
You could do that because it's an open mucous membrane. You got to close it up.
You really do, yeah. I've got goggles in my get home bag.
Yeah, I have some. Yep, you got to have them.
Mm-hmm.
People are spit in your face. You got to have them.
Go ahead, prepper. Spit in my face. I don't care.
Air purifiers can't hurt if you're staying in kind of a closed area inside your house and neighbors come over, turn that thing on.
I actually just changed the filter in my furnace. So I got the really expensive one. That's so stupid. But like,
I always buy like the $1.95 one that like when you're putting in, you push your finger through, you're like, oh. Whoops.
And it says, if you read the fine print, this will work for 4 days.
Yeah.
And you have to take it. I'm like, well, why am I doing this?
It's basically a demo.
Yeah, but this one is actually the one that's supposed to like, take down like the bacteria and the virus particles or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
your furnace can't even blow air through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are just some basic things that I think, if you have the chance now, like I went to Ace Hardware and I was like, they have painter masks. Yes, they're not proven and nor will they protect you from the virus, but it's like if you have to deal with some sick people at home and the only mask that you have is a freaking painter's mask,
you're gonna wear it.
It's gonna be something you're probably gonna put on.
Yep.
But like just these things, we're not trying to spread panic. We're just saying like prepare yourself, and if you have the ability to pick up some of these extra things, why not do it? It's what we do.
Because, I mean, it is getting bad right now, but it could get exponentially worse.
Yeah.
We don't know.
We just don't know.
It could get better.
So right now, it's like I was telling Kobe, I was at the grocery store and everything's stocked up. I'm like, I feel like I should buy all of them.
I know. Yeah.
But because it's the convenience right now and that could be gone.
So,
you know, another way that you could probably prepare yourself? If you're a casual prepper, outdoor adventurer, or survivalist, you need to check out survivalboxes.com.
Good idea.
Survival boxes are packed with the practical survival gear, long shelf life, storable meals. Survival water or filtration supplies, survival knowledge, content, and information. And even
I love the way you say filtration. Sometimes I feel like it's spelled F-E-E-L-T-R.
Well, I say things the way I want to say them. Heirloom seeds to grow your survival garden. That's another thing we need to talk about.
Sure.
Indoor survival garden.
Wuhan garden.
Yeah. Victory garden.
COVID.
Check out the new Survival Boxes subscription lineup or shop the improved survival store to get survival supplies and gear from all the best brands at a discounted price. Choose a Survival Box subscription that fits your outdoor adventuring lifestyle or casual prepping plan. Your Survival Box retail values will always be greater than your purchase price on Amazon. Cart price paces people. Go down there and get them. There are no contracts, and you can cancel your subscription at any time.
For sure.
I think most of a ton of my food supply is from Survival Boxes.
Mine is too. Like a big portion of it is.
So you guys are way behind if you haven't done this. So head over to survivalbox.com. Don't forget to use promo code Casual Preppers at checkout for 10% off your first box on any of them. Survival Box subscription.
Booyah. Awesome.
Is this the last time for them?
Yeah, I think it is. And that might be our last Survival Box.
I know. Everything they've done.
I'm very sad to see them go, but they will probably be leaving us as a sponsor after this episode.
They are by far one of my favorite freaking subscriptions. Like,
love them.
So worthwhile.
We do have a review I want to do real quick, Cameron.
You did bring those.
Yeah, so you see those right there? So we were sent a really cool prep item that I'm actually really excited about. If you've never heard of them, go check out...
This is Coronavirus Pathway.
Neverastray.com. Basically, what they make are these maps that are super durable and they're waterproof, and you can have these custom ones for your area, or they have ones that are already made for bigger cities. Basically, what they are is, and Cam and I have some, if you can see them on the camera, if you're watching on YouTube, really cool topographical maps of whatever area you're looking for. So we have one of our town and the surrounding areas. So if you're going to do a bug out thing and you have a bug out location, you have a really nice map that you can actually throw in a bag and it's not going to get ruined.
Because they get trashed.
They do.
You can never, ever fold them back the way that they came.
No. And the cool thing about these ones is that they're waterproof. So if you have them out and you throw them out on the hood of a truck or something, and you're trying to figure out where you're going, they're going to stay good if they're getting a little wet or anything like that. So, and then they're this really durable material. It's not paper. It's I don't even know what kind of stuff that is. It's interesting, right?
Probably make a mask out of it.
You probably could, yeah. So if you guys want to go to neverastray.com.
I don't know. It is a sweet material.
And you can actually use our code Casual Preppers. You're going to get 15% off your entire order. So that's a kind of a big deal there.
Ours should have been dirt cheap because, like, look how much little color it had.
I know, huh?
Ours is just like desert.
Yeah, so it actually gives you street data. So you give like the street labels and names.
Pretty freaking sweet. Like,
high quality satellite imagery up to it's printed at 300 DPI. 3D topographical shading. It's really cool, waterproof, durable. And the one we got is 36 by 24 inches, so it's huge.
Check out Dinosaur Land.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Bones.
So if you're looking for something like this, I'm gonna hang that on my wall in my room. It's gonna look so awesome.
Putting it in the back of my car window.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Flat down on the bed of my truck.
I'm gonna paste it on my windshield.
That's a good idea. Yeah. So go check them out. Neverastray.com. Use our code Casual Preppers. You're gonna get 15% off your order. It's very cool.
Yeah, they're way cool.
Yeah.
It's time for the quick and dirty medical tip.
So this will be quick.
Okay.
All right.
And dirty.
So one of the most important things, and this is why I struggle with like telemedicine and stuff, is because I have to see, like, vitals tell so much about a patient and how sick they are, or how much they're not using their blood pressure medication. So when a patient comes in and we room, you guys have all been a patient at one time, I'm sure. We check blood pressure, pulse, heart rate, because I have to say those the same.
Not the same, yeah.
But yeah, we check their heart rate, respiratory rate, and so we put the pulse oximeter on there. We see their O2 saturation, and we also, get their weight. So why these are like super helpful. If you're caring for somebody at home and during this, say your family member gets sick and you don't know if it's the coronavirus and you're hoping they don't develop pneumonia, these are just some of the things that I see in clinic that kind of tells me this person is a lot more sick than they appear. One of the first things I love is patients are like, my normal body temperature is like 96.8, not 98.6. So it says 98. I got a fever. They claim that their body temperature is lower, and it's ridiculous. Basically, I always question. I don't really have to question if they're sick if it's over 100.
Yeah, sure.
But a lot of patients come in, it's like 99. Yeah, you're fighting maybe some cold or something, but most of the time, a pneumonia patient, a flu patient, this is most of the time. Elderly and kids are always a trick, but you're going to see like 101, 102 with pneumonia, flu, and this coronavirus, like 90% had a fever. So
and they actually said it's a little bit higher fever. Usually,
yeah, so
right?
it's going to be like 101, 2, or 3 for sure. So that's a sign that they definitely are fighting something pretty bad. Then check their respiratory rates, and you can look up kind of based on the age how high their heart rate should be and their respiratory rates. Like most of the time they're around 15, 18, but if they get up to like 25, their respiratory rate, they're struggling. They're not breathing very well. And most of the time you will also see that in oxygen. So your oxygen level with the pulse oximeter, anything below 90 is concerning. Like if you're getting 88, COPD, asthma, I see that pretty often. But if you're down as low as 85 and below, then yeah, you've got infection and probably fluid indicating that you probably have pneumonia. So these are the things that I'd say look for. Like if you have these things, you can listen for crackles that you won't always hear in their lungs. But if their temp is like 102, their oxygen's below 90, and their respiratory rate is high, for an adult, like in the 20s or higher, and their heart rate is up, then you're probably dealing with much more than just like the flu.
So heart rate like over like 100 or something for an adult, or what?
Yeah, like resting heart rate in a person like me that's not super physically active, it's like 75. And ones that are like 100 and above, it's like, yeah, their system is taxed. So yeah, that's the things I'd look for. And blood pressure is sometimes it's up a little, but the thing that we worry about the most is if it's low. Like if you're regularly,
you wouldn't worry about me ever.
Yeah. If yours was low,
you'd be
then
like,
I'd be like, he's probably
die.
septic.
He's gonna die.
He's in trouble. But yeah, if it like know the average of that person's blood pressure for age and everything, but if you're getting like a 90 over 80, 90 over 70, they're in trouble. Yeah. And that's when you should risk going into the hospital. So I don't know if that helps.
No, I think it definitely
helps. So those are vitals, and those are all things you can do at home.
Yeah.
So I think just kind of get a feel of how to check those and how to look at respiratory rate, get that pulse oximeter, a stethoscope, learn how to check blood pressures. And I think you can manage a lot and know when to seek medical attention from those.
I think it's nice to have the auto blood pressure cuff thing, because if you're trying to do it.
Yeah, that's true. Like, and I didn't even mention that. Those are, even though they're not quite as accurate, they're so much more convenient, especially if you're doing it on yourself. It's like impossible almost.
Yeah,
you have to, and it's tricky. Like it's not an easy thing to like to watch blood pressure. So yeah, get a cuff. What are they like, 40, 50?
Yeah, they're all over the place. 35? I think I've got one and it was like $40 or something. But it's a little bit
I think
nicer.
Those things are essential in your kit. Like there's simple things that you can really determine whether or not this person is developing pneumonia or a more serious respiratory infection. So
for sure.
There you go.
Well, there you go, guys. That's coronavirus, COVID-19. Obviously, there was a lot of information to go over, and we couldn't get to all of it. We'd be talking all day long. But we tried to answer as many questions that we might have had or that you might have had, and I'm sure there's going to be more.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in the future, we don't have to do another one of these. But if it gets worse, we may have to do another episode.
Or we may be gone.
Or we might not have podcasting might be over for the world.
Yeah.
We don't know. This might be the last podcast ever.
I hope it helps. I mean, I think it's more serious than the flu for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to affect your life. So you know, take it serious. Start padding your preps and just be ready for it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
We love you, and we want you to survive.
Stay survived. Bye-bye.